Hello, beautiful people. I hope everybody's doing well today. I wanted to come live because Paulina and I were just having a conversation about how she got unstuck, and it sparked this idea about sharing people's stories about how they are stuck and what happens when they work with me and they get unstuck. And so, like I talk about when I coach all the time, taking messy action. We're just going to try this today, and if this works, if this is valuable, we're going to keep doing this with new people. And I'm going to ask 3 specific questions, and we're going to go from there. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Kelly Abanda, and I am an adventure coach. I really focus on helping people get unstuck, get out of their own way. So stop overthinking, stop thinking in perfectionist terms, get out of their own way so that they can really live the life that they want to live, the things that fulfill them, that bring them joy, that create the best version of themselves. And so, Paulina, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Cool. Well, first off, thank you for not only being on this live, but all of the conversations that we've had. It's been tremendously helpful. I am Paolina, and I am the owner of Madness to Magic. Madness to Magic is my company where I actually coach people on writing their way to where they want to be. I am a published author. I have my first book that came out in 2015. I have a couple more coming out. The next one will come out the end of this year, and then May 2021 is the third one. And essentially, I am a life coach that uses writing techniques to help people tell their own story. So many people have their own story that they want to tell. So I use those techniques to help them kind of dig through. Some people call it writing therapy, and get their story told the way they want to tell it. And I also help people use those story techniques to write the next chapters of their story. So Kelly and I have been together for a couple of years now, really kind of working hand in hand on certain projects. And what I love is that, first off, she has the power to actually empower another coach. So it's sort of like the trainer of the trainer. But I'm thrilled to be here, and that kind of just gives you a little sense of who I am and what it is that I do. And take it away, Kelly, on why we're really here today.
Yeah, well, we are here to we want to share specifically the story of this spark that happened in one of our particular sessions and what that means. And I think one of the really valuable things about hearing other people's stories is that we can see our own selves in those stories. And we've all been in a place of feeling stuck and unsure of how to sort through, especially if you're wired like either you or I are wired, which is we think of ideas all the time. There's always ideas generating about this is possible, what about that? So it isn't that we are stuck about having an idea. We get stuck in figuring out how do we organize that idea? How do we pick an idea? How do we start to, narrow down all of those things or put them in some kind of order that makes sense? And so I think it's valuable to hear those stories so that people can say, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who thinks that way. And there's hope that I don't have to stay in this place of feeling like I do right now. So tell me, Paulina, what had you feeling stuck before
Yeah.
this conversation?
So, so I just want to preface it just a little bit because part of my whole mission, right, is to help people find the magic within whatever madness surrounds them. And I have a lot to speak from in terms of personal experiences as well as professional. You can check that out if you want on my website, madness2magic.com. But I have been really good at getting myself to the next level, getting myself unstuck. And then recently there came a point where I'm juggling so many different things, not just clients that I'm helping that I absolutely love, but juggling also my own projects, my own book projects, and really having had so much experience, not only helping people write and tell their stories and kind of do some writer therapy, but also helping people even figure out the next steps in career, right? I'm quite good at doing that, quite proven in doing that, and just overall so many things that I I really enjoy and have been doing, but they've become overwhelming. There's,
Mhm.
as much as I like to think that I'm a superwoman. As a matter of fact, I have my own avatar called Paolina. It has a little cape. It's very, very cute. Um, but I'm not. And I'm at a place in my life where I'm totally cool with not being superwoman and taking the time out for myself. But I couldn't see the core of all of what I was doing, the core that really mattered the most to me. And so talking with Kelly, um, I came to her because and posed the question of, hey,
And can I
is-
just pause you 1 second? We're losing your face because you're cut
oh,
off by your little thing. We want to see your whole beautiful face.
okay, okay. Can you see it now?
Yes. There it is. I love it.
What
Perfect.
people
Okay.
don't know what people don't know is that to even get ready, like with this whole COVID thing, like to even take a shower today was like a big deal. So anyway, so I definitely want to show my face and my coif. All right. So and so so in essence, to get unstuck was really to out of everything that I'm doing, everything that I kind of love doing, what at its core means the most to me and is what I need to kind of focus on, right? It doesn't mean that the other stuff isn't important. It's just that to actually prioritize and to know which step is right for me now and to take. Kelly just kind of clears that kind of confusion with and the way she does it is not by telling you what to do, which has always super impressed me, is that she asks you the right questions to get you thinking, and you already know the answer inside of yourself. What Kelly does, she asks you the right questions so that you feel free enough to voice the answers, and then you know the path to go.
Yeah, that's so beautifully said, and it's definitely one of the things that I hold dear about the way that I wanna coach, is it's
Mhm.
primarily about asking questions because I really believe even when you feel the most stuck and the most unclear, there's a lot of clarity that exists inside of us. But the problem is when we're trying to figure it out ourselves, we just get in our own way and we've got too
Yep,
many thoughts happening and,
yep,
things just gumming it all up. But when
yep,
we have like a container and somebody on the outside who's guiding us in a way to bring that out, it helps to take the unnecessary stuff and get rid of it. And so
absolutely.
I love the way that you said that. So I'm so happy that that's what you're finding is that those questions are are more helpful even maybe than getting just a blank answer of here's what to do next and I'm going to tell you
Yeah,
what's happening next.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. How in particular did our conversation help you get unstuck?
So for me, um, I think specifically, sorry, but when you're on something like this and suddenly your phone is like blowing up and everybody's all over the place.
Always.
There you go. Right, exactly. So getting unstuck for me and how Kelly actually helped me kind of clear the path was at my core, I'm a storyteller. I've won awards with my writing. I'm published in several places. I thank you. I actually I actually have ghostwritten a lot of stories for people who really thought they didn't know how to write, they can't write, they don't know what their story is. I To me, everyone has a story, and I am fascinated by people's stories, especially the ones that are trials to triumph, right? So madness to magic kind of thing. That's where I light up. I am great at helping someone find a job, not just a job, but the next path of their career. I'm great at helping people step up and become leaders and how to actually have a seat at the table and become a C-suite person. Totally great at that. But what Kelly helped me really realize is when I come alive, is when I talk about the storytelling, when I talk about helping people use simple storytelling techniques that everybody knows, themselves along the path, get them to come to terms with their past, get them to move along the path and really reimagine and write the rest of their story. That's what brings me alive. And Kelly helped me really get unstuck, letting me know it's okay not to be everything to everyone, right? It's okay to focus on the things that make me happy, because those will, at the end of the day, help others in their happiness too. So that's how I got unstuck with Kelly.
Yeah, and it's
Thank you,
so it
thank you,
was
thank you.
I'm so happy. And I want to reiterate that point because I think that's another place a lot of us get stuck is that there are things that we're really good at that we know we can do, we've proven that we can do them. And so we may hold on to them because we're good at them and we feel like it's a safe way, especially when it comes to making money. But ultimately, if we're talking about creating a life that we're really excited about, that we are designed to do, we have to really pay attention to those voices of like what lights us up. Because if we're only doing the things that we're good at and are safer, but they don't really excite us, eventually that's going to burn out. And we're going to be like, well, here I'm back at this place of I'm not satisfied, I'm not fulfilled, I'm not being used to my potential. And how do I fix that? And a lot of that is tuning into and then giving power to that voice that's like, remember, you light up when you talk about storytelling and helping people get their story out.
Mhm.
And I imagine whether you're watching us live or you're watching a replay, if you've ever thought about telling your story in a book format, in story format, but you get stuck, drop a note because I want to reaffirm for Paolina too that there is a huge need out in the world for people who are like, I have something to say. I've been through some things. I've learned some things and I want to share that story, but I don't even know where to start.
Right.
And Paolina is the person who's going to help you identify all of the parts of that. You know, how do I start telling my story? What is the point I want to make with my story? How do I start weaving that in a way that's intriguing for readers? And then how do I get it out there? And she's got all of that knowledge and all of that experience. And so if that's you, you should definitely be looking Paolina up because that's what she's passionate about and she's so good at it. And so
Thank
embracing that and really being like, this is what I'm here for versus like, well, I can do this because she also has a whole huge resume of other things she's incredibly capable of. And she could do it probably with her eyes closed, marketing, ghostwriting, things that are not directly related to helping people tell their stories. She's
you.
fantastic at it, but that's not maybe what she should be focusing on. So that's something that came out of our conversation. And I love it.
And see, and this is why everyone needs a Kelly, because like just that, I need to have that in my pocket. So every day I just hear that on how awesome I am. Like seriously, everyone needs a Kelly. Thank you for that.
I love it. Well, and we all like, I also think it's a good point to be like, so you're a coach, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
I also need coaches. You know,
Yeah.
just because we have coach in our title doesn't mean everything always makes sense and we never struggle and we never have a hard time and we never get stuck. We're human, right? So
Right.
we need each other and we all need to have that outside
Yeah.
source of, helping us.
And you know what? I want to add to that because
Mhm.
a lot of people think, hey, when you become a coach or when you become at a certain level, right? Even I used to be a chief marketing officer. So everyone believes when you come to a certain level, clearly you know what you're doing, right? And you don't need anybody else. You're the one that people go to for answers. And that's true. There were days where I was like, okay, the answer person is closed for the day. No more answers, right? Because I just didn't have any more to give. But when we really think through things, the people who really rise to a level of what they were meant to do in this life, they all have coaches. Think of it, the tennis star Serena Williams. You don't think she has a tennis coach, right? Do we know who that tennis coach is? No. Is that tennis coach somebody who's had all the awards that Serena has? No, that's not the point. Oprah Winfrey, she has multiple coaches that she goes to. I think we don't think of those kinds of things, but everyone needs that outside, trusted, objective voice to help them clear the path of where they need to go best, right? Doesn't mean that we have all the answers. We know that you all already have the answers. You just need some help kind of digging them out, right? Wouldn't you say, Kelly?
100%. It's in there, but we need help. And even the people, probably mostly the people that you look to and are like, they've got it together. They're really doing things. They're making stuff happen. They're living their dreams. The likelihood is they have some coaches. Like
Yeah.
those the people that you named. And just because you're an expert in one thing doesn't mean you don't
Hmm.
need people. Like we need people. We're designed to do these things interconnectedly.
Absolutely.
So, two last questions. One, what was most surprising to you about our session, our conversation, and what came out of it?
Hands down, there was an aha moment when from Kelly asking me all these questions. And to be honest, I'm so I come from the marketing world. I come from the very powerful kind of like, okay, this, do it, right? Um, and so when Kelly started asking questions, I was like, for the love of God, if I knew it, I would have already done it. And so she kept kind of probing kindly, gently, where you don't even kind of know where she's going. But as you're talking, she picks out these little nuggets of what you say. And then she asks you a question. And there was an aha moment was when I was like, excuse me, holy crap doodle, this is the answer. Like, and something inside me just like completely released. And I suddenly let go of everything that was kind of weighing me down. And through those questions, through that kind of expedition, what surprised me was that I got the answer that I needed, not by somebody telling me, but by somebody helping me realize I already knew what the answer was. That was a gift.
That's awesome. And it's there. It is inside you. We just gum it up. We get in our own way. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, last question. What would you
Okay.
say to somebody who is considering working with me or with a coach, but is like, oh, I don't know if this is really going to get me where I want to go. And I don't know if I want to make the investment. I don't know if this is worth my time. Maybe I'll just do something. I can figure it out myself.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say, and this is what I tell people who kind of come to me and are a little bit hesitant. Um, okay, you don't have to. You really don't have to. So you do have it in you. You have the power, I truly believe, to go along your journey and figure it out yourself. But why do you want to do that? And let me ask you this. How much longer are you going to spend trying to figure it out yourself and not realizing your dream? So when I even work with people who know they have a story in them and want to get it out, the number of people who have like just struggled and just killed themselves for years getting nowhere, is that really worth it? What is the cost of not investing in yourself and finally realizing your dreams? We're only here for a certain amount of time on this earth. And inside, if there's a voice calling to you, whispering to you with what it is that you were meant to do, a passion, a dream, then do it. I don't I don't ever believe that investing in yourself is is a mistake. As a matter of fact, I believe the complete opposite. I believe that actually infusing dollars into yourself instead of stuff or other people or
Mm.
things that don't genuinely speak to the core of who you are and your purpose, that's the waste. And I think we too often devalue ourselves to the point where we don't think we're worth that investment. And all I
Mm.
can say, and what I do say to people is, if not now, when? When are you going to do it? When you're too old to even remember your story? When you are too old to even, I don't know, care anymore? Like now you've just become somebody sitting in a rocker and you're letting life get away from you? That's not good. Now is the time, because all we have is time. Has this COVID taught us nothing about life, about time, about what really matters? Use this time to actually position yourself where you want to be when kind of the world opens up again. Use this time to actually map out who you are, what you really want to do, and how to get yourself there. There's nothing more important, and believe me, I get it. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. If you read my history, I'm first generation. I am a caregiver. I have a mother and a sister, both of whom are or were, they're both deceased now, but both were paranoid schizophrenics. There was a lot that I overcame. I paid my own way through college. I was on the 6-year plan, and paid it off then multi years after that. I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth. And there were a lot of times when I did think to myself, and I still do, oh, wow, am I going to have enough money? Especially with what's going on in the world today, I can imagine that several of us are concerned about income, about future, about the entire uncertainty. I get it. But investing in yourself now is always the right answer. Don't think of tomorrow and the dollars, because I promise you, when you step forward with what your heart is telling you, and when you actually value yourself enough, realize that you're worth it to actually invest in yourself, that is what's just going to propel you and put you on the next level to what you're really meant to do, which in turn will bring more of what you want, including financial freedom. It'll bring it to you. I know that. I've lived it. So that's what I would say.
That was beautifully said, and I promise I didn't pay her to say any of that.
No, and we should
But
talk about that. I can draft a contract after the
yes, you're also good at drafting contracts. It's another strength.
for sure.
But I just thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and encouraging other people to get out of their own way, in whether that means like it's time for you to invest in a coach, it's time for you to unleash those dreams, it's time for you to stop saying to yourself, I'll never figure it out and life is going to continue to look the way that it's looked and I'm going to feel stuck, I'm going to feel confused, I'm going to feel overwhelmed. It just doesn't have to stay that way, but you have to make a choice, right? So anybody who's watching this and you're feeling these things, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling hopeless, you're wondering if the future is ever going to look different from the present. This is an example of it's totally possible for the future to look different. It just takes you getting involved and
Yeah.
investing your time, your energy, your emotion in help getting that outside support to make it happen. Statistics show us that, if we're left to our own devices, we only have about an 8% chance of reaching our goals. 8, single digit 8. But if we start to put into place accountability and then regular checking in with accountability, our chances get reversed and we go into the 90% chance of reaching a goal when we've got accountability. So that's another reason why coaching works. So we give a safe space, and also you've got some accountability and people checking in, and that really makes such a difference. So
Great.
don't
And
wait.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
add one more thing.
please.
And hello, you're learning from all of the mistakes that
Mm,
we have made. I mean, honestly,
true.
if someone had actually shared with me, if I had taken it upon myself to invest in myself, to work with someone who already had gone through what I was going through and what I intended to do, it would have shortened my kind of learning curve. And I think that's hugely important for us to really kind of consider, right?
Yeah,
Why learn? There's a beauty in learning from your own mistakes, right? Because nothing can replace that. I know that for sure. But
yeah,
there's also wisdom in learn from what others have done, learn from their mistakes. Why take it on yourself? So that's just one more thing that I would throw in there.
Yeah, perfect. And I will say I've made plenty of mistakes and I incorporate all of that into my coaching. So don't go down my road, don't do the same mistakes. And
Right.
also, like, you know, and I know that you're like this when you're coaching too. We coach from a place of authenticity. So we don't coach something that we're not trying to practice. So one
Right.
thing that I talk about all the time when I'm coaching is like having the courage to take messy action. And
Hmm.
this is an example of that. You know, we didn't this wasn't like scripted out or planned out for months in advance. And you know, maybe there would be some advantages to having done it that way. But instead it was like, hey, here's an idea, something really big just happened. Let's share it and talk about it and see what happens. And so I'm also taking messy action and I'll make mistakes and I'll do things wrong, and that's okay. Like that's the only way I'm going to learn and move forward and not get stuck in perfectionism and overthinking, because in that case I'm never going to take action. I'm never going to move forward and always
Yep.
stay stuck. So
Yep.
I
Perfectionism is the thief of progress. Just remember
mm,
that, right? Yeah.
it's yeah, it so is.
Yep.
And clarity, that thing that we're really seeking, clarity often only comes from taking some kind of action.
Yes.
So in the case of you and I talking, that action was having a conversation
Yeah.
and going through that. You couldn't just keep it inside and overthink. You had to take some kind of action, and
Yep.
then clarity came. And so, you know, I appreciate, I just, you know, I appreciate having worked together and who you are. And I'm so excited for what's happening with you. And again, I just want to, where can people find you if they are like, I want to tell my story, but I need help figuring out how?
So absolutely go to Madness to Magic. You'll see it on the screen there, .com, madness2magic.com. There's a whole bunch of things that you can tap into. I have a whole bunch of different programs, but if you click on the writing or the programs, the coaching, and then there's a drop down, you can choose writing coach, and you actually can even download. I have a free downloadable guide that's playing by your own rules. And that across the board will help you no matter what it is that you are wanting to do, whether it's tell your own story or a career or just general kind of life kind of help, right? We all need that. But go ahead and download that. It's the playbook, Playing by Your Own Rules. That's completely free. And you can, again, find it madness2magic.com.
Awesome. Definitely check Paolina out. Thank you for being here with us. If you are watching the live or the replay and you've got questions for us, put them in the comments and tag. You can tag me or you can tag Paolina. Just tag me first and I'll get her looped in. But we're happy to answer further questions. And if you are in that place of like, I'm feeling stuck and I know it's time for me, and I've got that little twitch inside that's telling me it's time to take another step, I would say two things. One, stay tuned, because in the next day, I'm going to be announcing my next program and it's really exciting. It'll give you some chance. Yes. It'll give you some chance for some one-on-one coaching and also some community accountability. So it's going to be fantastic. But also, like, just reach out to me, send me a message, drop me a note and say, hey, look, I think that's me. And let's have a quick chat by phone and see if this program is right for you. It may or may not be, but there's no obligation in that conversation. But I want to just be able to talk through wherever you're at and figure out how can we get you moving forward, because it's my goal and my ambition to help people get unstuck and finding all the ways that I can to make that happen. So Paolina, thanks again for sharing your story.
Thank
And
you.
we'll be hearing lots more from Paolina, because she is going to blow up as she's taking this focus and being like, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do all the other periphery stuff. I'm going to do this thing because I know it's what lights me up. Forget
Absolutely.
about it.
Absolutely. And
Forget
one more
about it.
thing, if I can do one more
Yeah.
little plug. So the book that's coming out before the end of the year, it's a children's book for adults, and it's called Seriously, Are We There Yet? You know how little kids, you're in the backseat of the car and they're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Well, as adults, sometimes you're like, holy crap, I've been working at this and I'm still not where I'm supposed to be at. Am I there yet? It has everything to do with shoulda, woulda, couldas in life. And I think you'll really love it. It'll be out soon, but on the site, madness2magic.com, you can sign up for the alert to know when the book is available.
I will tell you, I got to read a little pre-copy and it's good. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll be in touch. Bye,
You
everybody.
too. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.